yes. Spread your wings for me tonight.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy
children
Tuesday.
Of the lawn.
Happy Tuesday to you, children of the lawn. It's whoop. Wow, I'm feeling a little shallow. There you go.
Nice trick.
Yeah, it's, I can go in and out anytime I want. I have the magic button. Buttons are working. It's nice.
Oh, Gail put a little dog emoji that looks like Remy.
Dog emoji.
Dog emoji.
I do not see a dog emoji.
On Restream.
Oh, well, that's why. So let me give you the 411 here on the Ponderosa.
No, Kitty put it. I'm sorry, I said Gail.
Oh.
Kitty put it.
It's like this. Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend. See, I'm already at the end of summer. And we had, we watched all the races, watched the Formula One race, and watched the Indianapolis 500. which was exciting in its own way towards the end.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good. What was the? Oh, what happened with the formula race? Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, somebody won, and it wasn't our guy. So
Right.
that's
Because of the pit and the way they pitted Charles Leclerc.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway.
But Chico won. Checo.
Yeah, but that's Red Bull. Yeah,
Red Bull.
Checo.
Yeah, but we wanted him. We were okay with him.
Sergio. Yeah. Anyway, so it's been an interesting weekend. I've been splitting my time in the studio now that I've got Oxzoomed on its way to the powers that be to spread it throughout the universe.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Kitty said it's in the 90s there. She lives in Detroit.
Well, yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
hot.
That is hot.
It's in the 90s here.
Yeah, this is hot. But you see, that's what I was saying today. For us, we're used to it.
Sue said the same there in Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But I'll tell you what else is crazy. I'm in the studio and I'm working now. I'm composing some stuff. Tension underscore for crime. That's all you need to know. It's supposed to make you uptight right before something happens, or when something happens, or anyway. So I'm in there in my scary, freaky, creepy, making my sounds. And, every once in a while I got to take a break and shake it all off a little bit and walk. I'm walking, I leave the studio and I'm walking down the hallway towards the bedroom, and I hear the sound of lesbian porn coming from my bedroom.
But it was lesbian. It was not lesbian porn.
Well, okay. So
And
I stopped for a minute. I stopped because I'm a fan. But
you are?
Well, I'm not. Oh my goodness, I'm not shocked.
Never in my 40 years did I know that.
What?
That you were a fan.
Of what?
Lesbian porn.
Well, what?
Okay, you want to tell the people what it was?
It was lesbian porn.
No.
It was the French Open, which is it's a nice follow up.
Women playing tennis, but only one of them was screaming. So she was masturbating.
You had man. You had them going down. One play was
I went in and watched, and it was only one of them. Layla was not screaming.
When was that? Today?
Yes.
I'm talking about all weekend.
Yeah.
Well,
Some of those really they get more energy when
well,
they hit the
it's
tennis
like
ball.
I say. It always gives me energy. Always.
But today it was just one of them doing the screaming.
So that was a solo project.
Yeah.
Speaking of solo projects, I keep trying to come up with names for my record. I mean, I have names for it, but every time I think I've come up with, I know no one's using Oxzoomed. But for my stuff, I'm like, I don't know what to call it. I really don't. I thought I had a great idea, unfinished business. I said, Laurie, look up unfinished business. And she said, well, there's about 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, more weather report. Pat said it was 95 degrees this afternoon, and now it's 65, and that's in New Haven, and it dropped 30 degrees in less than 2 hours.
You're in New Haven, Pat?
Oh, wait. Maybe I read it wrong. And
Shocker.
Mark Visconti said 93 in Eastchester.
Eastchester, America?
Eastchester.
Eastchester, New York.
New
Oh,
Haven,
God.
yeah, New Haven.
Wow.
And Sue
Guys
said
are all over
men
the place.
love that.
What? When was what?
Sue said men love that.
No. Well, all right. I'll qualify it. The first adult magazine that I ever got was two girls. It didn't typify lesbians as we understand them today. It was obviously,
For the men.
Yeah, exactly. So it had, but it was so, to me at that age, it was so shocking to see that. I had never even imagined that in my life. So it left an impression. That's all. Now, believe me, I do not want to watch lesbian porn. There's nothing. That's.
I'm glad to know that. Because
I just.
That's not happening.
Only when you make me put that dress on.
Oh God. What about the guy? Did you guys see the guy in the dressed like the old lady that smeared whipped cream on the Mona Lisa in the Louvre?
Yeah. To bring attention to global warming.
Yeah.
His cake was melting. Man, I tell you what, it's the Wild West out there.
But he was dressed like an old lady in a wheelchair so he could get closer
so he could
to
be in
it.
the front row.
Yeah.
And then smears cake on the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. And then tries to bring, say that there's global warming. Well, okay, but that's not like being positive and making a positive.
Well, it is, because look at the cake. If there wasn't global warming, it would have stuck. It was a big smeary mess.
It was.
It's
whipped cream,
ridiculous. It's well, okay. It's it's getting stupid.
Oh, we have a guest coming in 2 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Keyboardist Dave Keys.
Dave Keys. Played with a bunch of people. It's funny because when we used to see this record, we would go downtown to the record store. We would see this record by this guy named Sleepy LaBeef, and we never knew who it was.
When you were kids?
Yeah, well, when we were younger. I mean, it would have been.
Well, when you say we used to.
70s. Me and my friends. We would see Sleepy LaBeef, and it was like. And now that you mention it, I don't know if that was before. It had to be in the 70s. I don't think it was in the 60s. But we were always enchanted by that name, and it became a sort of pseudonym for some friends of ours. But anyway, Sleepy LaBeef. And we should, and I love bluegrass, so we should probably give Sleepy a turn.
That's right. Okay, well, Brenda is weighing in on the porn. She said she was turning the channels one night, and show's title was Sex Sent Me to the ER. LOL.
No, we can't.
What?
What were you going to say?
You
were going to tell Larry's story?
That's a doctor. I wasn't going to say his name.
What?
He had someone that got to
somebody had a device, a rancher type guy came into the ER with a device that had been broken off in his posterior.
Right.
Couldn't get it out. Broke. And it's in there.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. They go to the ER.
Like, you better not laugh.
And Larry, and I mean, this is like the flannel shirt in the summertime guy, right? The guy who's always smells like hay, and he drives Dave Keys is here.
Okay.
And he says to Larry,
"You're not supposed to say his name."
I said Larry already. They know it's Larry. I'm not saying the guy's name.
We don't know the guy's name.
Said, "Don't you dare laugh." Okay. Come in.
It must be Dave Keys.
It must be Dave Keys.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Dave Keys, how are you?
Oh, great, man. What a treat to talk to you after all these years.
Yeah. Back at you. It's been a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been a minute. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I see the keys appropriately placed in the background, which I'm, bravo.
Yeah, I tried to. I moved the piano into the perfect position for a maximum,
right. Maximum zoomery.
Zoomery, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What is that, if I may inquire? I'm always interested in everybody's instruments.
Well, there's a baby grand back there. There's a Kawai over there.
Okay.
Actually, the piano I played when I was a kid, and eventually in the mid-'60s, my parents bought it, and my folks had it for a long time, and then they gave it to me eventually. So it's a piano that I've beaten into submission. It's pretty severely, but it's a great piano. And I've got a B3 actually next to me.
I see an RV 122 in the background.
Yeah, it's actually an H12, and the H12 has only a stop speed and a fast speed. So it's a similar
Wow.
size, but it's about late 50s or so. I got that in a Goodwill shop for a couple of $100 about 4
No
years.
corral?
No, no. Eventually, I added um, it. I added the Trek 2 for the percussion and stuff like that. But it's the guts of I think it's a B2.
Ah, yeah, that's it, man. There's nothing like that. There's
No,
nothing like those tone generators. You know, I've I had an A100 for a very long time, but it just, you know, if you don't stay on top of it, and if there's
yep,
not, you know, there's not a Hammond dealer around here, I'm sure there's guys that could fix it up. But for the amount I used it,
yeah.
I let it go to somebody that was really gonna, you know, wail on it. It's like having a old Stratocaster or something and keeping it in the case. It's not really fair.
I hear you. I hear you. You got to keep it. You got to keep it lubed, and it's like David Johansen used to say to me about playing the accordion. It's like a mistress. You got to take it out every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well put.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's David Johansen now. Yeah, there's a guy who beat the crap out of us all in a pool tournament. Do you know him to be a pool player or no?
To be a pool player, no, I did not know him to be a pool player. No.
Well, I mean, I did this. Oh God, it was years ago at a place called Cafe Society in the city,
Yep.
and and he was, you know, we were teamed up. I was playing with Dallas Taylor from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and I forget who he was with, but Dallas sucked, so we got knocked out in the first round, and I just watched it. And David Johansen's like sitting on like a high, you know, like a high bar stool, like Minnesota Fats reading the paper, and he'd get up and bam, and he, you know,
Wow.
but yeah.
Where was that Cafe Society at? Was it
In New
21st and
York,
Broadway?
In Manhattan,
Was
downtown.
it 21st and Broadway?
Yeah, I guess that was it. Yeah,
Yeah, it was that corner building.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I did a long. I was playing with a swing band with actually a cat I'm sure you know, Stan Bronstein, who played in Elephant's Memory.
Yeah.
And Stan we had a 10-piece swing band, and we started playing there in, I'm going to say probably 87, 88. We were doing a trio on Sunday nights, and then we were doing the big band on Mondays and Tuesdays. The gig lasted about 3 years, man. It was fantastic. But that was quite a place, man.
You know, it's amazing to me because I had heard of Sleepy LaBeef years ago, and it was a not a joke because the guy's obviously a serious musician, but the name sort of fit somebody that we were, you know, and it was just became a thing.
Yep.
And what occurred to me is, you know, I love bluegrass, like real picking, real serious, you know, Foggy Mountain Breakdown, kind of
Yep.
Flat and Scruggs, you know, that type of, but the high energy stuff. I don't really want to, you know. Although I do like, you know, the Soggy Bottom Boys, Man of Constant Sorrow. But there's just something about that music, and like for you to play with Sleepy, that, you know, you don't just get into that style, man. You just, you know, that had to. It's just weird where the river takes us. You know what I mean? And how did you get there?
I'll tell you the quick story on that. And just for those who might not know Sleepy, Sleepy was about 6'8", weighed probably 280 pounds, and he looked like a basset hound, hence the name Sleepy. His real name was Thomas LaBeouf, Labeouf. It was French, you know,
Yeah.
French, and he was from Arkansas. And so Sleepy was just, you know, from the Elvis days. I mean, he was on Sun Records in the old days. And I was up in Boston I got out of school in 79. and I was playing country music at the time. And Sleepy had he had a camper that he traveled around in, a big, like a Winnebago kind of thing. And he broke down at a place called Allen's Truck Stop up in Amesbury, New Hampshire, which is just on the border. And Sleepy was the kind of guy, wherever he ended up, he ended up. So he ended up staying at this truck stop for about 3 months, and he lived there. And I was doing a country circuit at that time, and an agent named John Penny, who had the corralled the country market up in New England at that time, said to me, you know, there's a guy, you ought to play with Sleepy. And I went on the road with Sleepy. And within 3 months, I was in Spain with him playing bull rings in front of 10,000 people, because he had gold records in Spain.
Wow.
Boogie Woogie Country Girl was one of his big hits. And he was
Spain.
In Spain, yeah. So it was quite an experience, and he was the kind of guy, he'd give me these cassette tapes, and he'd say, Dave, here's some tunes you ought to check these out, you know. And it was Jerry Lee, and it was obscure Elvis. There was a guy named Carl Mann, some old Carl Perkins, because I was always into the blues and boogie stuff, Jerry Lee, all through high school and stuff. So that just was right up my alley. So I would play 3 or 4 tunes to warm up the crowd with a bass player and a drummer, and then we'd bring Sleepy out. So that was pretty cool at that point in my life.
That had to be very cool. Was it fun playing with him? I mean, was he?
He was great. He was great. He was a deep guy. You know, he was a very deep thinker. I steered away from politics with him and stuff, but aside from that, we had a really, really good time. And he was somebody that I worked with him. I did the last gig with him before he passed about 2 years ago. I brought him over to Switzerland to do a festival. So we stayed in touch over the years. I played on some of his records.
Wow.
Special relationship.
Let me tell you what, all kidding aside, right? I mean, he is obviously at the center of Sleepy LaBeef, so it's not like he's shocked that anybody's having a little fun at his expense. But it never ceases to amaze me how full circle this business is. I mean, here I am at Hunt's Music on the corner of Mamaroneck and Maine in White Plains, and there's Sleepy LaBeef, and it's like, oh, and now here's, it's just amazing. I love that about this business. It's what this show is all about. The not even 2 degrees of separation between us all.
Well, Steve, when I first met you, it was at Spodioti's.
Oh, 21st Street.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if we could put a time on that, but I'm going to say early 90s, maybe?
Yes, I would say 90, 91-ish, yeah. Oh, God.
You and Mark were doing it was a jam. I don't know what night, Monday night or something that started around 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's when I met you. I did that for a little bit.
It was, man. I mean, it was amazing to be able to do that stuff. Yeah. Do you remember who played that night?
Well, Mark Hitt was playing guitar.
Right, yeah.
There was a woman named Veronica was playing percussion. I don't know if Bobby Nathan was involved in it at that time. Honestly, I don't remember. I think I got involved. I was playing with Buster at the time, with Johansson and Randy Michaels.
Randy, man. Yeah, of course.
I think that's how I ended up getting into that. I think I did the gig a couple of nights with it was the keyboard player or whatever, and it was great, man.
You played with us though, right?
Yeah, I played with you.
Yeah. That's the coolest thing ever. I used to love doing that. It was so. The thing about it was you never knew who was going to show up or who was going to do what. I mean, it was. I look back at some of the pictures and I think of some of the stories it was amazing that we were, that we were there at that moment in time. It was crazy,
Was that was post Rat Race Choir for you at that point?
That was Prost Rat Race Choir. Rat Race. The history of that is I never. I mean, everybody says, when did it end? It never really ended. It just kind of.
Yeah.
But I was off doing other things. But I remember in the '90s, I was played a couple of shows with them, and then we did a reunion in '97, and then we did one in 2017. So every 20 years or so, it's time for a gig. But Spody's was me. That time, late '80s, '90s. That's when I was playing with John, and I was touring with Leslie, playing with them, and touring with Leslie West, and I was into. Just I wanted to see more of what was out there, and so you go where the opportunities are.
Sure, of course.
If the one thing about Rat Race is I would still be there if there was a reason to, if you can't live on goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all or nothing for me. So but the city, man. I mean, that was such a. I missed that. Well, I did my first recordings in town in '68, but I didn't get into that whole city, the whole Manhattan thing until later.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I don't really regret that. I don't regret anything, but I sure enjoyed it when my turn came around. It was great. It was
Right.
great. Did you do China Club as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that was Bobby Nathan was doing it. Johnny Cement.
Yeah, Mom back. I had him on the show.
Yeah. Who I'm still in touch with. Julio.
Fernandez, sure.
There was a guy named Mick Gaffney who was down there a lot, guitar
I remember
player.
Mick.
Gary Frazier, another bass player, was playing with Canada and stuff like that. And those were some great times, man. That was
And the thing about it was, I had CrispinCio on the show the other night, and it's just you don't realize it when you're in the middle of it. You know what I mean? You don't like kind of peek your head up and go, "Wow, this is really cool," and man, am I really lucky to be because you're just a part of it. But when you reflect back on it, and it was like, wow,
yeah,
a lot of fun,
I mean, the beauty. Well, one of the beautiful things at that time, at least for me, was I think I was paying $300 for my apartment up on Broadway and 86th Street.
Wow.
And I was literally working 28, 29 days out of the month between doing country gigs, doing blues gigs, stuff like the China Club, whatever came up. But you were playing all the time, and it was all different people, which I really dug too.
See now, and that was similar to. I mean, for me, from '68 to let's say '97. However many was that? 29 years. That's not really true. From '68 to whenever, I was in Rat Race. I didn't play with anybody else. You didn't cheat on your band. It was that mentality, and I love that mentality. I still, I embrace that to this day. But I talked to guys on the show who were doing sessions and this and that and the other thing, and all I was doing, I was in like a little Led Zeppelin type of band, just us, and we played our circuit and did our recordings, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so, later on, especially in the '80s and '90s, and with Spody and China Club, man, it was like such a blast to play with all those different players, man. I'd be up there all night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when you have a band like that, like you had, with Rat Race, I mean, it's family, so you never, exactly. I mean, you may fight with family, but it's still always there, which is a beautiful thing. And as long as it lasts, it's great. And I know, you guys had a huge thing going on, and that's extraordinary, man. That's something that you'll always treasure for the rest of your life,
Yeah, and believe me, I'm very proud of it, and to especially via these conversations with people, to find out how important it was,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because you don't really think about that.
No, you don't. Yeah,
To me, I was the business had just changed so much in the '80s that I was looking for a reason not to leave, if you know what I mean. It's
yeah,
like, but it's whatever, I mean, you
yeah.
got if the wind's blowing that way, you're going that way. If you're not, you're gonna get sail on your face,
Sure,
So,
sure.
but no, I love what we did, and I love, now looking back at it as a sort of completed picture. Um, I'm very happy with the legacy that we left, or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very proud of what we did.
Yeah, you hit a lot, you hit a lot of people, and people will come up to you, just from my own personal experience. I saw you play at the Lone Star and opening for the Neville Brothers in 1985, and it's like, wow, okay, well, cool. I'm glad people, that's the stuff that people remember, and it's important, man.
Well, yeah, it's very, and that's, and I take that kind of thing very seriously. When somebody remembers, something that, I was a part of musically, especially artistically, in whatever way,
Right.
that's why we do it. I mean, otherwise we'd all be doing it at home. The reason we go out is to share it and to, there's, the reason there's only one dancing bear is because there's only one dancing bear. Everybody else just gets to watch. So dance, bear, dance.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. So what's on the menu these days for you, man?
Well,
What?
I've been, I worked for a long time with Papa Chubby, probably the
Yep.
last 10 years, and that was a pretty, um, we're working a lot of Europe stuff. And, uh, I split that at the beginning of the year, and now I've kind of gotten back to doing my own stuff. And I'm working on a theater project, actually, the story of Alan Freed, the DJ who first
I
wrote.
know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know Alan
I know
Freed.
you know who it is. Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
he was the first white DJ to play black music on the radio, and so that's been going on for about 5 or 6 years. And we hope to do something in the fall with that. So, in the meantime, I'm writing. I'm putting out another record. I put out 6 CDs. I'm putting out another one probably middle of the summer. Just did some tracks with Bernard Purdy and guitar player named
Pretty
John.
birdie, man.
Yeah,
How
pretty
was that?
good.
Does he still? He must still have the groove, right? I mean,
Unbelievable, man.
Bernard.
Unbelievable. The Purdy
Yeah.
Shuffle. So
Yeah.
he's it's pretty magical. So we've been doing stuff on and off for a while. So I finally got in the studio with him. I was really happy about that. So I'm writing a lot of stuff and just keeping the ball rolling.
Yeah, and isn't that what we do, man? I mean,
That's what we do. Yeah. It's
well,
constant reinvention, as you know, and
mhm.
you keep I've always been open to different opportunities, and things come.
Well, if you're a lifer, you have to be, and if you're a lifer, um, then you're gonna, no matter what your thing is, you're gonna hone that skill to its finest degree, and then that's when the work comes because
Yeah.
people know, hey man, you got to check out Dave because he's doing and that's the beauty of what we do because it doesn't really matter, what your spiel is, just play. I'll know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need a resume.
Yeah.
Just hit that chord. And and you always know. And that's why those jams were so awesome because you'd get everybody in town. I mean, we played together but then all of a sudden Jeff Healey shows up
Yeah.
or Carole King shows up or and it was, man, and nobody, when I remember the night at Spody's when Carol showed up.
Yeah.
And I recognized her because I'm up on stage and I can see over everybody's head. And I think it was my birthday party. It was when, Maddie used to always throw a birthday party. They did it at China Club too. Just
Yeah.
another excuse to have craziness. And she's walking, I forget what the guy's name, the security guy. You remember the big guy the guy.
Yep.
He's leading her through the crowd, and I'm expecting her to get up on stage and start saying, "All right, you do this and you do," and it was nothing like that. She got up on stage, just started playing like, and
Wow.
it was, that those places were the great equalizer. You
Yeah.
didn't go in there and bring your attitude. You went in there and brought your A game.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It was great, man. It
It
was
was.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's. I'm glad that I'm glad that you're writing. I've been, I've been doing a lot of writing too because I do underscore for
Right. Right.
different shows, and I've just started up again, and it's like so. It's almost perfect timing with everything that's going on out there because
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, I would tour if there was a tour to do. I
Right.
don't know that there's a tour to do for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to release my. I don't even know what to call it. I did a great deal with Deco Entertainment for 2 volumes of the Entwistle material, and they're going to put out my stuff. So it's like now all of a sudden, what is my stuff?
Right.
It's fun though, man. I mean, it's nice to have that kind of focus. You've got to get your song list together. You have to figure out which songs. It's part of the process. I love it.
Yeah. Every time I put a record out, it's it kind of pulls you in to, well, here's where I am right now, you know, and so it's always good, and the process is, it gets easier on certain levels and it gets more complex, but the hope is that each one is better, than the one before. And particularly with pandemic and everything, I mean, I would have made a record 2 years ago, but it just couldn't get people in the rooms together, and there was this and that, and now it's like way overdue. So I have these songs that I wrote 4 or 5 years ago that should have been recorded a while ago, but it's cool. But it's funny because it's a snapshot of where you are, and it's not, putting out a CD now it's different obviously than it was, or a record, whatever. You sold them at gigs, and if you're not touring all the time, you're not, in Europe in particular, used to sell
Right.
a lot of product. But now, I put them out because it's like, this is where I am. People hear it
Right.
and dig it.
And when I did the deal this year for the Entwistle stuff,
Right.
it's rarities, it's stuff that we never released, it's versions of things that we never put, it's just, but it's not, bottom of the barrel stuff. It's really,
Yeah.
it's all pretty cool stuff. But I was thinking, how do you support that? So I had an idea. I don't know if you ever. I did a film that I started when John was alive, and I finished it after he passed, called An Ox's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, maybe we do this combination of, maybe show the film and talk about the film and play the music, and maybe do a music minus one type of deal where I could play along with my own record or something. Because I think for me, conventional touring, it's just not there. If it was there, I would be doing it, but I just
It's
don't.
not feasible on a certain level, but the music minus one thing, man. That would be unbelievable. It's a great
Well,
idea.
I did it. I did it. And I'll send you the videos of it. What I did, I didn't do the movie thing. What I did is went to a couple of colleges
Yeah.
and gave talks about the business.
Yeah.
And I had my gear up there, and I had, I had to do it in cans because I can't play, it's just too loud. I
Sure.
would have needed like stacks. And I played a couple songs and talked about what I was doing, and talked about the business, and
Yeah.
I tend to try to put a positive spin on things. The business can be, it can be like brutal,
Brutal.
but it's also the dream. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so it's
It's funny. I was just down in Memphis for the Blues Music Awards, and They have this thing called, and the award show is on a Thursday night. And this year, because of the pandemic, they have this thing called the International Blues Challenge, where every blues society in the country, and there's like probably 100 of them now, and Europe gets to send a band to Memphis. And they do fundraising and blah blah blah, and then all the bands kind of do a playoff. You have six bands in one night, and in say 7 or 8 venues throughout Memphis, and the winning band goes the next night, and it gets it's like a
Yeah.
playoff. And I actually won this thing in 2000. It was, and it was great. But to see, just to watch some of these cats and kittens, men and women, and it's much more diverse than it ever was. The love of the music and the thrill of seeing some guy up there who, not necessarily a terrific player, but man, he's living the dream of his life being up there.
Yeah.
And that it brought me back to just, a moment like, 40 years ago when I was like, you have those first moments of like, wow, this is great, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird how it changes over the years. You never, I was always a ponderer with regard to the future. I was always thinking about, what's coming, where am I going to go, how am I going to be. And you know what they say: if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. But it's like you said, you kind of have to reinvent. You got to retool it. It's like, and I think that's the beauty of what we do. Because it's tough to go out and be Rod Stewart. Tougher than it was a million years ago, because not because of any other reason, but they expect a certain thing from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't just go out and put a country band together or a bluegrass band. We have the freedom to do whatever we want, and and that's the thing. Doing this record that I'm doing, I listen to all the possible songs that I would put on it, and it's almost like K-Tel presents 20 completely different things that have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, but that's
But
okay.
but getting back to what you were saying about doing the educational programs, I think as musicians, one of the more important things that we do is we it's like a spark that you can give to people, because what we do is special, man.
Yeah,
And it's funny. I was reading. I don't know if you're a baseball fan or not, but I was reading this thing about this guy Bob Gibson, who was an incredible pitcher in the
I
'60s.
remember Bob Gibson.
Yeah. Okay. And the guy interviewed Bob after he retired, and he said, Bob. The interviewer said, "Bob, you seem like you're sad," and Bob looked at him and he said, I'm a baseball player. I have the chance to do this thing that, and then to go back to like our quote normal life. It's like, you get juiced about doing a certain thing and about being able to affect people and put a smile on people's face and have them go like this, in a positive way. And that's something that's really important and special, and something that through the workshops and things, I think you can really bring to people. So it's just, you put out your stuff and you try and make, without sounding corny about it, you make the world a better place, because you're hitting people in the heart.
Well, anytime you can spread joy on any
Yeah.
level. I mean, unless I don't know if there's music that's supposed to bum you out. I haven't heard that music. Well, maybe I have, but I don't go to those clubs anymore. It's a beautiful thing that we do. I celebrate it. It wasn't really a choice for me. It was, when I was in kindergarten or first grade, you think, I want to be a race car driver. I want to be a veterinarian. And then once I got bitten by this thing,
Yeah.
that was it. There was nothing else. And it was just that, laser focus of, oh, no more. I need this. I need to do this. And the thing that it took me a long time to learn is playing in those clubs. The big clubs, 1,000, 1,500 people jammed in there, all standing up for hours just waiting to see you play. That was the magic. Because I've played big festivals and arenas and all that stuff, and it's not what I always imagined it would be. I remember when Bob Mayo went to play with Frampton, and those guys were playing. He left Rat Race. I'll see you in '73, and went, and he had actually been playing with Peter on and off to that point. But I thought, wow, and it's wow, but it's different than you think it's going to be.
Yeah. Because you're more, I don't know, you're more when you're in an enclosed space with 1,000, 1,500 people, and I did this pretty extensively with Papa Chubby in Europe, a lot, more than in the United States, but a lot over there. It's just the people are right in your face, and in the stadiums or whatever, it's a little more. They're not, it's just different. It's different, but you have to project. You have to be bigger on a certain level, but it's a different emotional thing.
Well, the thing about I don't know if it was this way for Leslie, but for Entwistle, he said he hated playing. Not that he hated the actually doing it, but he didn't like playing big venues because he wanted to see the reaction on people's faces when he blew them away with something. You know what I mean? And you don't get that when you're playing the Garden and there's that whole pit. It's not that way.
Yeah.
And it was good in 2017 to go back to what was it, Mulcahy's on Long Island and play a set with Rat Race, 2 nights, and just to do that one more time, that was like closure for me. Anyway,
Yeah. It's funny. I saw the Stones. I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago at the Meadowlands, and we were all the way back, which is whatever. But you're watching the show on the screens, and as a musician, I want to see the interaction between the band. I want to see, particularly the rhythm section. I want to see, the bass player, Charlie and Keith. I want to see them eye to eye, catching those moments. And that was totally lost in that kind of setting. So as a fan, looking at it from the other side of the stage, you lose something there.
Yeah, of course you do.
And you see somebody in a club. It's just like you smell the sweat. You're right there. Somebody screws up, they crack up. The band interacts. So he plays something great. You see the look in somebody's eye, and it's
exactly. And it's like I tell Lori, my wife and producer, who's been
yes, hey Lori,
hi Dave.
I said, imagine if you could walk into a room and make stuff disappear. Wouldn't you do that all the time? Wouldn't you be like, oh, well, watch that lamp? You'd be like, watch him, like that, and then all of a sudden you'd be back.
You'd be Yoda.
You'd be Yoda, yeah. You'd be Yoda. All right, listen, here's what we're going to do. Did Angus send you the questions?
Oh, you did? That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
We got the questions.
Go ahead.
No problem. And Friday nights, Free for All Friday, same key to the get in, party at Steve's house. Anytime, wherever you are, you want to come in for a minute or an hour or whatever, it's Free for All Friday. So I'm going to play a quick commercial. I will meet you back here in a few seconds, and we will approach the life-altering questions. Good?
Excellent. Can't wait.
All right, I'll see you in a minute. Oh, I know. Here it is. Bang.
Most of you know I live in Southwest Florida now, and one of my favorite places to grab a bite to eat is Jason's Deli. Scott and Diana Willis have been in business here for over 20 years. The truth is, Jason's Deli has bigger choices of better food. You can eat healthy and enjoy the taste of quality ingredients. They're open 7 days a week for dine-in, pick-up, or deli delivery. With 4 convenient locations from Naples to Cape Coral, Florida, they are a must-try. Jason's Deli, where all good things come from wholesome ingredients. And Bradley's Jewelers in South Fort Myers. Diamonds, bridal, you name it. Estate, custom design, and expert repair. Bradley's Jewelers, South Fort Myers. They specialize in amazing moments.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Okay, back to
All right.
Dave.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's real. You know, it's high level production around here.
Cool. You got some terrific sponsors there, man. I'm impressed.
Yeah, well, you know, food and diamonds are 2 of my favorite things. Diamonds I can do without, but food every day.
You know, Julie, you know, diamonds are a girl's best friend, right?
Yeah, not this girl. No.
All right.
Unless it's a baseball diamond in the playoffs, then.
Well, those sandwiches look good too. So
Sandwiches were awesome. I mean, that place. You know, I'm in the deli wasteland, and you know, this is kind of like an episode of Star Wars.
I know.
You know, you know, there's not a lot of friendly planets around. But man, when you hit a deli that's like the real deli, it's awesome, and they're really good. So
when you're from, when you live in the island in New York area, delis and pizza are, it's hard to.
I know. Believe me, I know.
found-
Everybody's got their own thing, but man, I have trouble finding a sandwich some places. I can't.
Yeah. And where are you now?
I live in Rockland County. I'm by the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Land of good delis and pizza.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Johnny's
my favorite pizza
yeah.
on earth, to date, is down in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Johnny's Pizza on Lincoln Avenue.
Yep.
You so desire.
Yep.
We used to drive down there. We lived in Putnam Valley. We used to take the dog, put him in the back seat.
Yeah.
It's an hour to get down there.
Yep.
Right, 40, maybe 50 minutes.
Yep.
We would call in the pizzas 10 minutes before we got to the exit. We would get there, pull right up. They would know we were coming. They'd bring out 2, not 1, but 2. Because
They were so thin.
It was so
They didn't sell slices.
They didn't sell slices, and 1 was just not enough. So.
Yep.
And they were gone before we ever got home. Because you can't reheat it. It's like...
No, you can't reheat it. No.
Yeah, but you're close, man. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so here, since we're on the subject of
segue.
food,
Yes.
you have toured, you have traveled, you have eaten and seen things all hither and yon. Favorite restaurant on the road? You know we're going to Belgium. I want to go to Murgatroyd's on whatever.
It's got to be the Rendezvous in Memphis. Best barbecue.
Ooh.
Right off of Beale Street, the best barbecue in my eyes. Best barbecue.
Really?
Yep. I mean, lunch, you go in there for lunch, and they only have ribs. Ribs, coleslaw, beans, nothing else.
That's it? Just ribs?
For lunch, yeah, because you go in there at night, it's too crowded. You can't get in.
Wow,
So
man.
every time I go down to Memphis, that's where I go.
Wow, Beale Street. Man, I had a...
Rendezvous.
Rendezvous.
No,
The
I was thinking about it. I
That's
had
the name
a...
of the restaurant he likes.
Yeah, the Rendezvous one. I loved... I spent quite a bit of time on Beale Street now, here and there. And every time I hear the name or remember that, that particular area, just I get flooded with memories. That was crazy times. But Beale Street, you go from one club to another, sit in with this one, that one. Oh, there's Dolly Parton. There's Loretta Lynn's club, or it's amazing. It's really fun. Okay. So we got that. All right.
Yep.
So here we go.
We wrote that down too.
On the travels, throughout the, between restaurants, the set list comes out, and there it is, your favorite song to play live. What's that song?
The favorite song to play live is let's say Dixie Chicken, Middle Feet.
Oh, I think we had another Dixie Chicken. I think someone. I think
Yeah.
that's familiar to me. I think.
I would say either that or One Way Out. How about that? If we're dealing with
I like Dixie Chicken. One Way Out's good. I used to play that when Mayo was in the band. We used
yeah,
to
I'm
play
sure.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Dixie Chicken
Who does Dixie Chicken?
Well, it's Little Feat.
Little Feet. Oh, okay. There you go. A lot of people like them.
Yeah, they do. That's why I think we've had that song before.
I
Okay.
think you're right.
Set list comes out this time. Not so happy. Don't really ever want to play this song again. What's that song?
I know Brown Eyed Girl gets a lot of votes. I have to go with, as a blues man, I'd have to go with Mustang Sally.
Oh, we've gotten some Mustangs. We've
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 23 brown-eyed girls.
yeah.
We have. That's the most popular. I
That's
don't
the
want to
most-
play again
yeah.
song.
But
I'll tell you. Let me tell you. Can I tell you a quick story?
absolutely.
Okay, so Jerry Vivino, great sax player.
Oh, I know Jerry. Sure.
Okay, he did the Conan O'Brien show. Jerry lived in Rockland County for a long time, and one night I was playing a joint in Nanuet, New York, and Jerry lived around the corner. So I said, Jerry, come on by. So Jerry comes on by, and he takes the horn out. We were having a ball. I have a 5-piece band. Jerry's playing, blah blah blah. And there was a woman that helped me carry the equipment in at the beginning of the night, and the place wasn't that crowded. And she, at some point in the night, she requested Brown Eyed Girl as a way of thanking her. I was trying to be gracious, and I said, "What, you were so helpful, help me get the gear in. What song would you like to hear?" And she said, "Brown Eyed Girl." Jerry has the horn in his hand, and from the moment that she said "Brown Eyed Girl" to the moment we played that ba 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 ba, Jerry, the horn was apart. The feather duster was in the reeds, and the horn was packed up, and AJ looks at me and he says, "I just got really tired."
Wow.
We had played 2 bars of the song. He was gone.
That's pretty funny.
Oh,
There you go.
that is funny.
That's listen. That's both of those guys, Jerry and Jimmy.
Jerry and Jimmy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some stories there.
Beautiful cats.
There's some great stories there. Okay.
All right, so that's a good answer. Mustang
yeah.
Sally.
Yep, Mustang Sally, man, and yeah. See, now I was bummed out to find out that the Rascals didn't write that song.
They did.
They did that song.
I didn't know
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah. See, now you make it.
I think it was Sir Mac Rice is the writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was. But who cut it? Who was?
Well, Pickett had a huge record
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he had the first one, but he had the definitive kind of cut.
Yeah, Wilson Pickett. But oh yeah, Mustang Sally. Man, I saw them do that.
Yeah, Wilson Pickett.
Whatever. Anyway, that's I liked that song for a while, but
Just played it too many times,
yeah, it's and then are we doing the Rascals version? Or are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
It's do you do the one of these the choke thing? Did we do that, or do we not doing the choke? Or
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So now you're a keys man, which is appropriate. I mean, come on, Dave Keys, right? If you could absolutely shred at any other instrument other than the ones you know how to play, I mean, kill, oboe, classical, harp, timpani, whatever it is, what would that instrument be?
Gotta be guitar.
Yeah.
You can take it with you wherever you go. It's a babe magnet. Come on.
Yeah, it's like a puppy, kind of. Yeah. It is. It's
it's a total. I mean, in college and stuff, everybody was playing Hendrix, and I'm a piano. I'm a keyboard player. It just wasn't. It was tricky at that time. Drums. I mean, and I love trios. And I have to say, you having played with Entwistle, I got into the Who. I love the Who always, but I really got more into them in the last 5 years, where I was watching a lot of videos, and we were doing these Who, Papa Chubby does Who stuff, and I was blown away what Entwistle did. totally. The three of those, forget about Daltrey. Not forget about him, but
You can forget about
You
him.
can no, we can forget about him.
he, Bonham and
Mooney.
Moon. I'm sorry,
And
Keith.
Entwistle, yeah.
Keith. The interplay, what Entwistle was playing, was just unbelievable, and I didn't really appreciate that until later in life. But the Who was the first rock concert I saw.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's where?
Tanglewood in the Berkshire.
Oh wow, yeah.
My mother took me. It was the summer of Woodstock. It was B.B. King, The Who, and Jefferson Airplane was the closer.
Oh wow.
Wow. That's I it was funny because I liked the Who. I was into the Who like to Quadrophenia.
Yeah.
And then when Mooney died and all that happened, it was I didn't not like them, but I wasn't like I can't wait till the next record.
Yeah.
I had moved into for me if I was listening to it, it was because it served my musical direction.
Yeah.
And I liked the bombastic Who from Live at Leeds. I liked the dynamic Who from Tommy.
Yeah.
And that whole thing. And John used to talk about Mooney. There's this thing that we did. It was edited out of the film. We didn't use it in the film, I don't think. But he talks about how Moon would play with everybody in the band.
Yeah.
But if Daltrey was singing something that had cadence to it, he'd be playing with Daltrey, or he'd be playing with John, and so he gave everybody all the choices of it was just wide open.
Yeah.
And I think that's why playing with John for me was so much fun, because we just got to go nuts.
Yeah. But as a drummer, Steve, let me ask you this, because watching some of these old videos, and I actually watched the show that I saw at Tanglewood. These things were on, like in Wolfgang's Vault and stuff like that. I was amazed at how elastic the time was.
Oh yeah.
Like it was all over the place. But in the context of what it was, that's what made it,
Well, you would think you would think that Mooney was responsible for that, and in many ways he was. But playing with John, when we would jump into those old blues standards, Summertime Blues or Young Man Blues or Shakin' All Over, that time was elastic as well. I mean, he used to like to play faster, and we were all over the place. And I think that's why we got along as a rhythm section, because I like to push and pull. I'm not the pocket guy. If you want that guy, you got to call Sean Pelton or respect. But
sure.
I'm a lead drummer, and John was a lead bass player.
Yeah. All getting back, the three of those guys, Pete, Keith, and John. Everybody was a lead player. But it worked. It worked incredibly, man. And you don't see that, man. It just doesn't.
No, you don't. And that's why, and I'll tell you what, to get a taste of that for the 15 years that we've been friends, to actually get to drop into that and kind of do the 21st century version of that. We had it was great playing in that band. It was just wide open spaces. And John used to say, somebody asked us in an interview, what's the new band sound like? And he said, well, it's bass and drums and some other guys.
Great.
Yeah.
I gotta check out. There's YouTube clips of you guys playing, I'm sure.
Yeah, just look for the John Entwistle Band. There's Woodstock and
Great.
And it's funny because those are the we do John's Who songs. We do the original songs that we wrote for for the various projects, and then we do some of those classics. Like I said, and it's just like, let's make some lamps disappear. Okay, here's the big one. If you could play one show with anybody, living or dead, because I think you live in the world that I live in. I'm a live guy who records as opposed to being a recording.
Yeah.
If you could play one show, one live show with anybody or any combination of guys, living or dead, who would
Yeah.
it be?
It would be with Willie Dixon, bass player
Oh,
on Chess Records, Howlin' Wolf, and I'm a sucker for Keith Richards.
Oh, wow.
wow, man.
That would
That
be my
sounds
3.
good.
That would be, yeah.
Because
that
that's a
would be
rhythm
good.
section to me that is just, you know, I mean, Wolf was just such a powerful force.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You need to have Clyde or Burn, or Pretty Purdy back there, Clyde Stubblefield, or
yeah,
but,
yeah.
But man, that's well, that I'd pay to see that band.
And Dave, I have to tell you, there's so many of our regular people saying what a great show tonight was. So we
Oh,
thank
good. Well, Steve, it's amazing. You talk about coming around full circle. I get this email from Angus. Oh, how'd you like to do the show with Steve Longo? And it's like, 40 years we're looking at.
Easily 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So there you go, man. It's a beautiful thing. So
But first of all, and thank you for being here. And like I said, please come in on a Friday. But this is the whole point. If we were to meet instead of meeting on Zoom in the middle of a pandemic, if we were to bump into each other at Harvey's Brew and Stein or whatever it is, and there was a piano and a set of drums, what would happen? This is what would happen. It would be stories and stuff and laughing and. That's what makes this, in my opinion, the greatest gig in the world. So,
Excellent.
Anyway, man, so what a blast. Thank you for being here, bro. I'll send you some links. I'll get all the contact details from Angus.
Great.
And don't be a stranger, man. This is fun. And I should tell you one thing, because I had never heard of your Leslie before, because we're off, we're but do you remember the High Boys? The Leslie High Boys?
Oh, the tall ones.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen one recently, actually. Yeah.
Larry McGowan had 2 145s, 2 122s, and 2 High Boys. We used to call it Larry McGowan and his wild herd of Leslies. And to see those 6 things lie flat,
There's a venue out in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, called the Mo-Chunk Opera House, and they have 2 High Boys in the back.
Wow.
Back there, unbelievable. So.
Wow, unbelievable. And people probably, how's this curio cabinet open? Oh, man. Good to talk to you, Dave. Thank you for being here, brother. I hope you come in on a Friday. We'll hit you with the email, and good to see you, bro. Really good to see you.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Julie, too. Take care, folks.
Take care, man.
Bye, Dave.
All right, we'll see you.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not That is the epitome of what this whole show is all about. I haven't seen Dave probably since we played that night at Spodiotes, which had to be 90, 91, something like that, 92.
Oh, thank you, Mousy. Thank you, Lori.
Mousy! Lori! Love you!
Yeah. So y'all picked right up where y'all left off.
Man, and it's just, I'm telling you, and Mousy knows, if you've been in this business for a minute, you know how, it's like, we started watching The Mandalorian.
Yes.
I'm not going to go into the TV
Baby
thing.
Yoda.
It's the only thing that could get her into a Star Wars type of thing. It's a Baby Yoda, and he's a little thief.
He's very cute.
And
he's a baby and he's hungry.
Spoiled, and he's, But the thing is, when people run into other, like the frogs, when they saw each other and they understood what the other frog was saying, they were so happy. That's the way it is for us musicians. It's why I'm in space, because you speak that language and you understand. So, it's not like Mrs. Frog, but it's close.
Kitty Tiger is sitting out on her deck watching a mama raccoon and her baby. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We love raccoons.
Yeah, we love them.
We used to let them in our house when we lived in New York.
Until we found out they could kill us.
Yeah. We used to feed them bread.
They used to come inside.
They're babies.
Used to come into our living room
Yep.
because we lived in the mountains. They would
Because
just,
we would feed them bread.
and we had names for them. We knew them all. But anyway, that's another story for another time. Yeah?
Mousy said it all comes back around.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing for, from where I'm sitting. I love us.
All right, children of the lawn.
So tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh, Wednesday.
Anything
Nobody had
goes
anybody
Wednesday.
request?
No, listen, I'll find stuff.
All right.
You don't have to request.
The baby is staying close to mama. That's good.
The baby is staying close to mama.
Oh, Mousy said they call raccoons trash pandas.
Well, that's true. Waschbären.
Wash bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're funny, man. I tell you what, I remember when it was before we had dogs, so it had to be like in the early 80s when we were living on the mountain. And they would just...
Yeah, Sue said, you find stuff for tomorrow night.
They would walk in and you hold a piece of bread and their little pads on their... They were like cold, but it was just amazing to be that close to them.
Yeah.
And I told you the raccoon
And then
story.
we found out that if they were rabid or whatever, we could have been bitten and died. Oh, Gail said, we love what you picked last week. Okay.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I'll pick some more stuff. I have more stuff.
Okay, then.
And on that happy note, if I don't see you in the future, see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, kids.